I never thought a trip to Target would be the stuff of nightmares, but that's exactly what happened one fateful evening. It was a typical Friday night, and I had run out of essentials: toothpaste, toilet paper, and a few snacks to get me through the weekend. So, like any responsible adult, I headed to my local Target. The store was brightly lit, and cheerful holiday decorations adorned the entrance. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary as I grabbed a cart and started browsing the aisles. As I strolled through the household goods section, I noticed an eerie silence that hung in the air. No chattering families, no crying babies, just an unsettling quiet. I chalked it up to the late hour and continued my shopping. After all, I was on a mission to get in and out as quickly as possible. I made my way to the health and beauty section, where I picked up a tube of toothpaste and a pack of razors. That's when I saw her. A young woman, maybe in her 20s, with long tangled hair and a tattered, oversized coat. She stood at the end of the aisle, staring intently at a display of shampoo bottles. I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. She looked lost and disheveled, like she hadn't slept in days. I decided to approach her, thinking maybe she needed some help. "Hey, are you okay?" I asked, my voice soft and concerned. She turned slowly to face me, her eyes sunken and devoid of any emotion. "I need to find it," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Find what?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. "The key," she replied, her gaze never leaving mine. "It's the only way out." I was starting to feel uneasy. What kind of key was she talking about? Target was just a store, right? Before I could ask more questions, she turned and disappeared down the aisle. Shrugging off the strange encounter, I grabbed the items I needed and headed for the checkout. The eerie silence persisted, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. As I approached the front of the store, I noticed that the checkout lanes were empty. No cashiers, no customers, just rows of unattended registers. I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should just leave my items and get out of there. But I was already behind schedule and I didn't want to waste any more time. So I pushed my cart to the nearest self-checkout machine and began scanning my items. That's when I heard it. A faint, distant whisper. I couldn't make out the words, but it sent shivers down my spine. I looked around, trying to locate the source of the sound, but there was no one in sight. I hurriedly finished scanning my items and paid, desperate to leave the unsettling silence behind. But as I made my way toward the exit, I realized something was terribly wrong. The automatic doors that led outside were gone, replaced by rows and rows of identical aisles stretching endlessly into the distance. Panic set in as I retraced my steps, but every aisle seemed to lead to the same impossible sight, a never-ending expanse of Target shelves. My heart pounded in my chest as I frantically searched for an exit, any exit. But there was none to be found. The whispering grew louder, a cacophony of unintelligible voices that filled the air. I covered my ears in a futile attempt to block out the sound. I had to get out of here, had to escape this twisted nightmare. As I wandered the aisles, disoriented and terrified, I came across the young woman again. She was now standing at the end of an aisle, staring at me with those empty eyes. "You have to find it," she said, her voice a haunting echo. "The key to escape." I was beyond reasoning at this point. I needed answers, and she seemed to be the only connection to whatever madness had engulfed this place. "What key? How do I get out of here?" She slowly raised her hand and pointed down one of the endless aisles. "Go that way. You'll find the door." With no other option, I followed her direction and sprinted down the aisle. The whispering voices grew louder, urging me on or perhaps taunting me. I ran faster, my footsteps echoing in the empty store. Finally, After what felt like an eternity, I saw it, a door at the end of the aisle. It was plain and unremarkable, but it was my only hope. I pushed through it and stumbled out into the night. I found myself back in the real world, gasping for breath in the Target parking lot. The store was there, just as it should be, with customers bustling in and out. I couldn't believe my eyes. I never did find out what that key was, or why I ended up trapped in that bizarre, never-ending Target. But one thing was certain. I would never look at a shopping trip the same way again. The next time I stepped into a store, I couldn't help but wonder what hidden horrors might be lurking just beyond the aisles.